Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be showing some amazing records here from the beautiful state of Colorado. I've been here on a business trip and by the time you see this I'll probably already be home sadly, but this has been an amazing time. Colorado is in a beautiful state. I've enjoyed the beautiful mountain views and sunsets. The incredible walking trails. It's just a beautiful state. This is a perfect time to be here in the fall. I've had a great time. So also, along with the beautiful sights, Colorado has some really great record stores. I've been able to shop on my way to Colorado and while I'm here, and this video is just going to be a small sampling of some of the cool records I've picked up while I'm here. So also, I want to just say, a little over a week ago, I made a video about the loss of Eddie Van Halen. He's my favorite musician of all time. That one kicked me in the gut like nothing else. It's just a tremendous loss, and I've been very sad about it. But it was so comforting to make that video, and the outpouring of love and praise for Eddie Van Halen that I was able to read from the comments. So helpful, just very comforting. So thank you all so much. I know he meant a lot to me, and it's so great to know he meant a lot to you all too. So if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate your support. And let me get started with my most recent get. It is by, you name it, Van Halen. This is a really cool unofficial release. It is called In the Club Golden West Ballroom from 1976. It is before they became big. They were still hungry. I don't even think they probably had a recording contract yet. They were trying to get one. There's some really cool stuff on this performance. Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss is on here, as well as Summertime Blues, if y'all are familiar with Blue Cheer. They did Summertime Blues, that's a really good one. Aerosmith's Sweet Emotion is on here. LaGrange by ZZ Top. They do really cool covers on here that I had never heard before. And look at this really great gatefold of Eddie Van Halen in the middle. They also do some future hits, future wonderful songs that go on to be on their studio albums. In a Simple Rhyme, Eruption, DOA, Running with the Devil, Ice Cream Man. It's just a lot of good stuff. It's unofficial, so it doesn't have the sound quality that a studio release has, but it's so interesting and I really love it. And here is the vinyl for it. Obviously, because it is not an official release, they don't use the Van Halen logo, but as you can see on the label. It's a 2 LP set. And if you're looking for something like this, you can probably find it online. Also, another place that I've had really good luck finding Van Halen unofficial releases is Second and Charles. If y'all are familiar with that chain of book and record stores, they often have those too. I want to give a special thank you also to a wonderful friend of mine, Ralph. He has the channel Almost Human. It is a humongous channel, and he does great album reviews. He talks about Kiss and Cheap Trick and Van Halen. He does special news segments about music news. He just has a really great channel. And you know, he has been reeling from the loss of Eddie Van Halen too, and he's made some really great videos. And on one of his videos, I noticed he was wearing this incredible t-shirt. I was just absolutely like, I have to have that. And I asked him where he got it because I was going to order it immediately and he couldn't remember. But you know what? He literally gave me the shirt off his back. Check this out. This is Van Halen, and look, it's the toe touch of Daily Roth. So cool. This is such a great t-shirt. I wanted it and I was going to order it, but you know what? He kindly sent it my way. So thank you so much, Ralph. I love this shirt. Been enjoying it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'm going to show you some records that I picked up at a store in St. Louis, Missouri called Euclid Records. And I love that store. I have a lot of records. My early collecting came from Euclid Records. And this is a 2010 Record Store Day limited edition release that I found. I wasn't collecting records back in 2010, so to find something like this I thought was really cool. It is the debut album by The Doors, and like I said, it was a 2010 Record Store Day release, and what makes it so cool, it is a mono version of this. Now, of course, if you buy an early pressing, you can probably find a mono copy. I haven't been that lucky to ever find a mono copy of an original that was in any kind of good condition at all. For some reason, those Doors albums there's a good reason for why those Doors albums look worn out. It's because they're so good that everybody played them. But check this out, 180 gram vinyl, mono, beautiful sound, absolutely incredible. So I was so happy to find that. I had a 70s reissue in stereo, but this one is really, really good. So happy to have that. Here's the insert that came with it. Thought it was just cool, so I wanted to show it to you. This is a record. I don't have anything by Small Faces. I know Earhead 6 Bo loves Small Faces. This is a very cool one. He recommended for everybody to pick up, and I hope I get the title correctly. Ogden's Nut Gone Flake. Very interesting. A really good sounding record. I really do love the songs, and this is in really great condition. From what I believe, this is a 1968 original. The owner of Euclid Records told me that that's what it was, so I'm going to trust him on that. Usually when I see labels, though, I see a pink label, but this one came on a very, very light purple lilac color. So I'm used to seeing the pink label, so I'm a little confused about what I have here. I believe this is an original. If not, it's a really good reissue that sounds incredible. And this album is interesting in the way that there's a, like in the 60s, there was a trend where people in the psychedelic music would talk in between songs. So I thought that was interesting. That was on one side. The other side plays just a selection of songs that are really good. The whole album's great. There is a song on here in particular called Afterglow that I really love. And Great White, if you're familiar with the band Great White, did a very good a cover of it. So Great White's version is really great. This is a very good one too. So I love the song Afterglow on here. Very good album to have. And I love having what I think is an early version, if not an original. Here are a couple of records that I picked up because of the price. Clifford Brown, Alternate Takes. Clifford Brown was one of those jazz artists that died way too young, so you don't hear him being named in the way you hear Miles Davis or John Coltrane. You know, he just died way too young, but he was so talented. And I wanted to find a couple of records, just wanted to find some for my jazz collection. And I found this for under $10, so I picked it up. Alternate Takes, I'm not really sure how important that is as far as the jazz collection goes, but for under $10, the condition of the record, I went ahead and picked it up. Sounds great and very enjoyable. And it came with one of those very cool posters. I think you all are pretty familiar with this poster. And the other side of it is just all of the wonderful Blue Note artists that contributed to the success and the incredible jazz music. Here is another Clifford Brown album called Memorial. It's the Memorial album. And this, again, under $10. It's a reissue, but it was in really good shape. So I picked it up. It's on the Prestige label. A little bit of a later Prestige label, but I love the color blue. And like I said, great condition. Sounds really good. Now I'm going to talk about some records that came from a local record store in Colorado. It's in Boulder, called Absolute Vinyl. And the owner's name is Doug. He was a very nice guy. We went in there and checked it out. It's a really small store, but he had incredible stuff in there. He has stereo equipment as well as just some really hard to find records. He had a great personality, And one of the things I really love about these mom and pop stores, these really small record stores, is the feeling of community they have. They're very good to their customers. They're also just very good to their community. While we were there, I was having a discussion with him, and I had some pretty important records in my hand. And as we were talking, he looked over and he saw this guy come into his store. And I just have to assume it was a guy who is very down on his luck. Probably, if I'm right, I'm guessing he was a homeless person that probably comes by to say hi a lot. And Doug excused himself with us, really good customers, because he wanted to make sure that this person was okay and he had everything he needed. And I found that very touching. You know, that someone who has a record store reaches out to people less fortunate like that. It was just very touching to see. So also, here is what I found from there. This is Bob Seger in the Silver Bullet Band. This is the Mobile Fidelity original master recording, and I'm a huge fan of the song Main Street. My mom had the 45 when I was a kid, so I really love that song, as well as Rock and Roll Never Forgets, Night Moves, Mary Lou. There's just some really good stuff on here. So I found this for a decent price. It was in really good condition, so I picked it up. And I'm looking forward to hearing it on my turntable at home. I brought my secondary turntable and speakers along with me for this business trip. But to be honest with you, I don't really know that this record just blew me away sound-wise. And normally Mobile Fidelity records blow me away. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a listen at home and having a judgment there. The next record is one I've been wanting in my collection for a long time. I wanted the Mobile Fidelity pressing of it, but it's out of print right now, and it's about an $85 record. So while I was at Absolute Vinyl, I found an original stereo press of Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. And I really love this record. It's probably my favorite of Bob Dylan's. I think there's some really great stuff on here. I love the gatefold on this one, and it has a picture of Claudia Cardindale on here that I believe is only available on the first pressings. So let me show you also, there was a picture in here, and Bob Dylan fans, you can tell me if this is something that came with this album or the previous owner had just put it in here. I thought it was interesting. It's a picture of Bob Dylan, and then when you look on the other side, it's Jimi Hendrix. So it's either just something that a previous owner left behind, or maybe it was a picture of Bob Dylan and he wanted to pay tribute to Jimi Hendrix on here. I'm not really sure. Let me know if you know. I'd be curious. And here are the really cool original inserts. I love when they have the advertisements for the really old albums. And this was on a 2i Columbia label, and they were like in flawless condition. I couldn't believe it, y'all. Just absolutely in great shape. I wouldn't have picked it up. I've ran into Blonde on Blonde before. I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't on such good, in good condition. And I know a lot of people would probably say the mono version is better, but to find an original, a stereo in the excellent shape that I found it in, I was absolutely thrilled to find it. Here is another record that I found not very expensive. I haven't had a chance to take the price tag off of it. This is Al Stewart's Year of the Cat. I am familiar. My introduction to Al Stewart was the song Time Passages, which was a hit in the 70s that I remember very well because my mom had it on an 8-track tape, and we played it often when we were in her 1970s red Pinto. So I found an original, just a regular copy of this album for $1 in a dollar bin once, and I play it. It's just something I really enjoy. So for the price of this original master recording, I went ahead and picked it up, even though I had another version of it. But it's in really good shape, really good record, and I enjoy it. And the label on this Mobile Fidelity record is a little different. I'm used to seeing those kind of generic looking black and white ones, but this one's got a little bit of a unique label to it. So some of these are like this, others, and most of them that I have are on the black and white label, but very happy anytime I find a Mobile Fidelity record for a good price. Finally, one of the coolest records I found on this trip came from Absolute Vinyl. I didn't need it. I already had a couple of versions of this album, but it is one of my favorite records of all time. It's one of everybody's favorite records of all time. So I couldn't resist picking this up because I hear the reviews on this album is just off the charts. And I never see it. I knew if I wouldn't pick it up, I would kick myself later. So I went for it. And it is the 30th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon. This was the 30th anniversary celebration, and just a really cool record. It's very much like how the original came out, and this one had the posters and everything that was included in the original is included on this one. It was made in Holland, and I think it sounds really great. I'm looking forward to getting it home onto my really good turntable and maybe doing some shootouts between my Mobile Fidelity Dark Side of the Moon as well as my 2016 reissue, just to see what I think sounds best, and I will let you know in a future video. Here is the label and the 180 gram vinyl. So I never see the 30th anniversary. I know I've seen it on Discogs, but I found it and it was a good price, so I went ahead and picked it up. And finally, I did go to a store called Recollect Records, and it's in Denver, Colorado. I was so impressed with how clean the store was. The selection was really good, and I think what really meant the most to me is when I went there, I saw a lot of records that, you know, I guess a beginner collector, the basics of classic rock were in there. And where I go to stores and see those records just creeping up in prices like $15 and $20, they still had those really good basic records for $6.99 and $7.99. And I thought that was really impressive. You know, they're not just really going all out on the pricing. This is what I found. I already had this record too, so just another one, but I couldn't resist it for the price. I have a promotional copy of this, but this is Buckingham Nicks, and this is a reissue. It is not a gatefold like the originals were, but it is still in shrink. It still has a price tag on it, and the vinyl is pristine. I don't think they played it very often at all. So I just could not resist for the price picking up another copy of this. It's in beautiful condition. So let me show you the record. Just clean as a whistle, you guys. And this is a quiet pressing. You need a good copy of this record to be able to enjoy it. So very happy to add that to the collection. And those are the records that I'm going to show. I've got so many more to show you that I have found here in Colorado. But again, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And I'm looking forward to hearing your comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.